Hey, stop. Do you ever get tired? I don't mean physically tired. I mean tired of carrying the same thing, the same pain, the same disappointment year after year. You pray about it, you cry about it, you try to move on from it, and somehow it's still there. That's exactly where this woman was, and she'd been there for 12 years.
The eternal word, a light unto the ages, now revealed.
You know, some of the hardest battles that we face in life are the ones that nobody else can see. You know, the ones that we carry quietly, the ones we stop talking about because we're tired of explaining them. Maybe it's prayer you've been praying for years. Maybe it's hurt that you thought would have been gone by now. Maybe it's a burden you've carried for so long that you've started to wonder, man, is this just how life is gonna be? And that's a difficult place to find yourself in, because a lot of people don't lose faith all at once. It slowly happens, one disappointment at a time, one unanswered prayer at a time, one more day of carrying something you thought, man, it would have changed, it would have been gone by now. And after a while, you learn how to live with it. You wake up, you do what needs to be done, you keep moving forward, but deep down, you know something gotta change. The hope ain't gone, but it's not what it used to be. You've been fighting for so long that you're tired. Not physically tired, you're soul tired. The kind of tired that comes from holding on year after year while wondering if anything will ever be different. Maybe that's where you are today. Maybe there is something in your life you've been carrying for so long that you've stopped expecting a breakthrough. You've tried everything. You done tried everything you know how to try. You've done your best. You've prayed. You've waited. You've held on longer than most people realize. And if you're gonna be honest, there are moments when you wonder, how much longer can I keep going? Now, if that sounds familiar, then I want you to stay with me, because the story we are about to step into is more than an ancient story from the pages of scripture. It's the story of a person who reached a point where most people would give up. A person who spent years carrying pain, disappointment, and isolation. A person who had every reason to stop believing that anything could change. And yet, somehow, she kept going. The woman we're about to meet, she suffered for 12 long years. 12 years of pain, 12 years of disappointment, 12 years of people looking at her like she was a dog, 12 years of watching life move forward while she remained trapped in the same struggle. You know, a lot of people would have quit. In fact, most people would have accepted that this was simply their life now. But there was something inside of her that refused to let go. And what happened next could change her life forever.
For 12 years, she lived like this, alone, in pain unseen, ashamed. Everyone she loved turned their backs on her. She spent everything she had, promises that never healed her. Every day it was the same result. There was nothing anyone could do for her. Every step beyond her door reminded her she was no longer welcome among her own people. She was viewed as unclean. She was untouchable. They did not curse her. They did not strike her. they simply stepped aside, secretly whispering amongst each other. But when life takes everything from you, sometimes all you have left is the courage to keep going, even when it seems impossible.
I wake up tired of hoping, tired of holding on. Every prayer feels empty, every night feels long. I've tried every answer, spent all I had inside, but the hurt keeps bleeding and the tears won't dry. They don't see my suffering, they just turn away. But there's a whisper in my heart that tells me I should stay. If I can just make it through the fear, through the crowd, if I can just reach him without saying it out loud. I don't need a miracle, I don't need to be whole. If I can just touch him, I believe he can save my soul. And I don't have much strength left, but I'm still holding on. If I can just touch him, maybe I'll be strong.
12 years. 12 years. Can you imagine waking up every morning hoping that something might change, only to watch another day pass exactly the same as it was before? After a while, it's not just pain that wears you down. Man, it's disappointment. It's the waiting. It's watching life move forward while you feel stuck in the same place. It's wondering how much longer can you keep carrying something that nobody else seems to understand. And maybe that's why this story reaches so many people. Because if we're going to be honest, y'all, most of us know what it's like to carry something for far longer than we ever thought we would. Maybe it's a prayer you've been praying. Maybe it's a wound you're still trying to heal from. Maybe it's a burden you've gotten so used to carrying that you've almost convinced yourself, well, maybe this is just the way life is. But what moves me about this woman is that after 12 years of pain, after 12 years of disappointment, after 12 years of reasons to give up, she don't. Somehow, deep inside of her, there was still a small spark of hope. Maybe not much, but maybe just enough to take one more step. And sometimes that's all faith really is. Not having all the answers, not seeing the outcome, just finding the courage to take one more step. Take one more step when everything inside of you is telling you to stop. But when life takes everything from you, sometimes all you have left is to encourage yourself. All you have left is to keep going even when it seems impossible.
The crowd was thick that day, pressing in from every side. Voices loud, bodies close, no room for the weak. She had no strength left, no voice to cry out, only a decision burning inside her. He did not ask for his attention. She did not demand a miracle. She only believed. If I can just he turned. Fear rushed through her, but so did truth. For the first time in 12 years, the pain was gone. He called her daughter, not unclean, not forgotten, but daughter. In a single moment, what 12 years had stolen was restored. And if you are listening to me now, and your strength feels gone, remember this: faith does not need to be loud. Sometimes it is just one trembling step, one reaching hand, one touch.
One touch. You know what? The more I think about this woman's story, the more I realize that her greatest battle, it wasn't the sickness itself. It wasn't even her pain. Her greatest battle was surviving 12 years without letting hope die completely. I want y'all to think about that. 12 years of waiting, 12 years of disappointment. Half of us, we get frustrated after 12 minutes. But this lady had 12 years of waking up every morning in excruciating pain, facing the same reality over and over again, knowing that tomorrow when I wake up, I'm going to feel the exact same way that I felt today. Most people hear that number and they move on too quickly, but they don't, right? Sit with it for a moment. Please think about this. 12 years ago, she was already praying for this. 12 years ago, she was already hoping things would get better. 12 years ago, she was already believing that somehow her life would change. Yet year after year, nothing did. How many nights do you think she cried herself to sleep? How many mornings did she wake up determined to keep believing only to end another day disappointed? How many times do you think she wondered if anyone saw her pain? How many times do you think she asked herself if this is simply how the rest of my life is gonna be? And maybe that's why her story continues to touch the hearts of millions of people thousands of years later. Because some of you listening to me right now, you know exactly what her pain felt like. You know what her pain feels like. Maybe your struggle doesn't look like hers. Maybe it's not a physical condition. Maybe it's grief that you've been carrying longer than anybody realized. Maybe it's a relationship that broke your heart. Maybe it's a financial burden that never seems to go away. Maybe it's anxiety. Maybe it's loneliness, regret, or a prayer you've been praying for so long that you've stopped telling people about it. Not because you've stopped caring, but because you're tired of explaining it. You're tired of hoping. You're tired of wondering when or if anything will ever change. You know what it's like to keep showing up, to keep moving forward while carrying something heavy that nobody else can fully understand. And that's what amazes me about this woman. She kept going one more step. Not because life suddenly became easier, not because she had answers, not because she knew a miracle was waiting for her. She didn't. She kept going because somewhere deep down inside, there was a small piece of hope that refused to die. How many of you have that small piece of hope? Maybe it wasn't a roaring fire anymore. Maybe it was only a tiny spark, but it was enough. And sometimes that's what faith looks like. You don't need big old faith. The Bible say faith the size of a little old mustard seed. You ain't got to be standing on top of a mountain shouting your confidence for the whole world to hear. Sometimes faith is simply refusing to quit. Sometimes faith is getting up one more day, praying one more time, taking one more step when everything inside of you is telling you, yo, stop. Because the day she met Jesus wasn't the first day she suffered. It wasn't the first day she cried. It wasn't the first day she hoped. It wasn't the first day she prayed. It was simply the day she decided to take one more step. If you're going to take one more step, I want you to put it in the comment section. One more step. And I can't help but wonder how many people miss what God wants to do in their lives because they stop one step too soon. And many people walk away because they've been waiting for so long that they've convinced themselves nothing will ever change. How many people allow disappointment to write the ending to a story that God is still writing? This woman had every reason to stay home that day, every reason to listen to her fear, every reason to believe that this day is going to be the same day like it is, like all the other days have been for 12 years. But she didn't. She got up, she moved forward, she pushed through the crowd, she reached out her hand, and she said, you know what? I'm going to make this decision that's going to change everything. If I can just touch him. But the part of this story that moves me the most, it isn't even the healing. It's what happened after. Woo! Jesus stopped. All them people around him. Jesus stopped. I want you to think about that. Out of all the people, he stopped. Out of all of the voices, right? Calling for his attention, he stopped. Out of all of the needs surrounding him, he stopped. He stopped for her. Everybody else ignored her. Everybody else looked at her and But Jesus stopped what he was doing. For 12 years, people, they had stepped away from her. For 12 years, people had avoided her. For 12 years, she had lived feeling unseen, unwanted, and forgotten. But then Jesus stopped and he looked directly at her. And then he spoke a single word, daughter. Man, not unclean, not an outcast, not a burden, not forgotten. He said, daughter. God hasn't forgotten about you. Your family may have abandoned you. Your friends may have abandoned you, but God still calls you his child. In one word, Jesus gave her back something that 12 years of suffering had tried to steal. He gave her back her identity. Because pain has a way of convincing us that pain is who we are. Failure has a way of convincing us that failure is who we are. Heartbreak has a way of convincing us that heartbreak is who we are. But Jesus looked at her and reminded her that she was more than what had happened to her. She was more than her struggle, more than her suffering, more than the thing that had defined her for so long. And maybe that's what someone listening needs to hear today. You're more than whatever you're going through. You're more than the battle you're fighting. You're more than the disappointment you've endured. You're more than the mistakes you've made. You're more than the seasons that you're walking through. The thing you're carrying may be a part of your story, but it is not your identity. If this woman's story teaches us anything, it's that a long season is not the same thing as a permanent season. 12 years felt like forever for her, I'm pretty sure, until the day it wasn't. And maybe that's what you're hearing maybe that's why you're hearing this story today. Maybe it's not just because of what happened to her. Maybe it's because somewhere deep down inside, her story sounds a little bit like yours. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're hurting. Maybe you've been wondering if you can keep going. But if that's you, I just want to encourage you. Don't give up. Take one more step. I want you to say one more prayer. Hold on just a little while longer. Don't allow disappointment to have the final word, because the God who saw her, he still sees you. That same Jesus who looked at her and said, daughter, he lives today. The God who stopped for her still stops for the people today. And the God who called her daughter is still reminding people every day that they are more than the pain they've been carrying. And remember, when the world is still trying to figure things out, the Bible told it first.